Mirage is the most played map in all regions across all of FACEIT, and if you clicked on this video, odds are pretty good it might not be one of your best maps. My name is Hardscopes, and I am the head of content creation here at Priority Esports, and I have recruited our head of coaching to help you become a better Mirage player. All right, so as I mentioned in the intro of the video, I am joined by Priority Esports head of coaching, and we're going to walk through all the common mistakes. Today, we're going to be covering some very important utility on both T side and CT side, how to stop or how to control mid on Mirage, how to hold and take A site, and how to hold and take B site.
What's going on, guys? I'm Bonk. I've been playing for about 16 years. Done plenty of Fragadelphias, so I've got a wealth of knowledge and experience to share, and I am happy to join Hardscopes in this endeavor.
All right, so we spawn into the prac server on CT side. So why don't we just start on CT side? I think the biggest thing that I see online on TikTok, on YouTube, is util. Everybody seems to think that util is one of the most important things to know when playing Counter-Strike. So let's start with CT side util and CT side lineups. What are the most important ones that we need to know when playing on CT side?
So starting over on the A site, what we're going to talk about first is your initial contact. You should always be mollying top ramp. You'd ideally want it a little bit in front of the ramp, ideally maybe hitting off this wall. All this is going to do is stop the initial T push, and it gives you plenty of time to get con and support your mid players.
Now, so to throw, if I'm, so say I get, you know, and we'll talk about this in later episodes of this series here and playing spawns, but say I get the A spawn, right? I get the better A spawn. Am I going to be throwing the molly from back here, from ticket box? Am I going to want to be in front of ticket, maybe closer to A site to throw that? Because that, you can see where it lands kind of in different spots based off where I throw. So if I'm trying to shut down a fast A push, where should I be standing to throw this?
You're on the run, so off spawn it doesn't super matter. Like ideally you are this guy on the corner. In a perfect world, you run forward, and on the run you just look over triple and it'll land exactly where you want it.
So basically, we just want to make sure the molly lands in the vicinity
in the archway
of top of this archway right here. Because when the T side is coming up, they're running. They've got their MAC-10s out. They've got their Glocks out. They're ready to push you and take A. If there's molly right here, they may be able to get up here and get some information, but it's going to actually prevent them from putting bodies on site and taking that space.
Yeah, at the very least, it's acting as a hesitant, so they can look at it and not push. With the current damage that the CT molly does, they can just run through it and eat that damage. So you have to be ready for that, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves.
There.
But yes, that could be something that they do, is they just run through it and commit, where as you're crossing, you want to be ready for this fight just in case. But once you've crossed stairs, you're safe.
So to recap, we spawn on CT, and to get this first molly off, we're running. We're looking over triple. We're throwing the molly, and it's landed in T ramp. Shut that down. Shut that initial push. All right, I think it's a great first util to learn. What else do we need to know utility-wise for CT Side Mirage?
In line with that, right? So second guy, usually you have two guys A. Your number two guy is going to be running right behind you. This guy should be here and throwing a flash over the palm tree. What this flash is going to allow your mid players to do is swing with a little bit more safety. And if your con player has his timing right after that molly, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't fight this, assuming everything goes well. He can get into con off that flash and fight with your window player. So you have a little bit of a hesitant plus a supporting piece of utility that opens up areas of the map that allows your teammates to actually accomplish taking space, getting info, getting that entry pig, like opening pig.
Okay, so second players running onto site, whereabouts are we going to want to be? Because it seems like both of these util lineups so far are active. We're running. We're not, standing here,
so
lining up with pixels.
It's about hitting the site. So you can do just a D. You hold D, you tap it, it pops over the palm tree, and it flashes people top mid as they come up. It's another bit of a hesitant. You could buy some time to get some active there. That one's good.
So we just really, the goal here, and this is something that I will be practicing too, the goal here is just get it over this roof line, because that's going to blind the CT players that go fast to top mid.
Yeah, and as you're learning it, if you need to like just stop to get everything going and just W key it, that works too. The real point is that you're just getting the flash over to help your mid guy.
Awesome. So far we've got a molly on ramp to slow them down. We've got a flash over top mid to slow them down and give your guys that are playing mid and window a little bit of an advantage. What is the third spot, the third piece of util on a site that we need to know as CT players?
So as a CT player, it's extremely important. If you're this con guy, right, knowing this right click that goes out into con and the fact that you can molly deep into Palace.
Okay, so kind of a
molly deep Palace.
2-in-1 here. So my thought initially, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, I'm the professional creator here, not the professional player. Why would we want to smoke this off? I know we can still see cat, we can still see into short here, but wouldn't that give a T, say they get the pick on our window guy, we lose our op. Wouldn't that give them this space to take?
Yeah, so really the point of this smoke here that gets out a little bit further, it allows you to lurk out to the bench. So if you're helping get some kind of mid control here, you can get to the bench, you can spam off info, you can get into lower, running, assuming you have cover, you can get into lower. It gives you more options to fight out with your team versus just sitting behind whatever smoke that they threw, because they'll typically throw that. If you smoke a little bit further out from that, it allows you to stay in the fight without just giving up con.
Okay, so this kind of covers your movements. We're moving in smoke here. We're out to bench, and that gives us another body on mid to either reinforce our window player, or maybe our short guy is pushed up, or to try and retake that space if they are able to secure that window pick and take our op down without exposing ourselves to any Ts that are looking for information.
Absolutely, yep.
All right, and then the other one was that molly into deep Palace. That seems pretty self-explanatory.
Super simple.
Yeah, you just
super simple, super self-explanatory. You're just clearing this right corner in case they timinged you through, and you're hesitating any kind of late push. You could also pivot your molly and just put it back towards ramp, because maybe they're gonna execute late. Just give them that extra pause as you see smokes fly over, what have you. Super situational. But those are two very important pieces. I think this con one I would learn more, because anybody can throw that molly.
Yeah,
anybody can throw this molly.
Yep.
But working this smoke and knowing how to work off that'll be more important as a con, primary A player.
So now, while we are on CT side here, so let's recap. So utility piece 1, we're throwing a molly over triple while we're crossing over to maybe shut down a push, maybe make them hesitate a little bit, rethink their idea to do a fast A rush. We've got, of course, that flash again over this roof line. If you do it right, in between the palm trees to, again, blind.
That's perfect. That's good.
Give yourself the advantage. We've got our smoke. It kind of lands outside con. That might be... Actually, that's really good.
That's good, yeah.
Outside con to give yourself space to take to bench without exposing yourself to a barrage of fire from the Ts that are playing. And then a situational piece, mollying deep into Palace to clear that right corner, and again, shut down or slow down a push onto A. So really here, we're just trying to control space. We're trying to control the site. Exactly.
You're just helping our teammates take space, win fights instead of giving up certain areas of the map.
All right, now, while we're on CT side, let's just knock out the rest of the CT side list here. Let's talk about util on B site. All right, so we're on B site now. We got the B spawn. We're the B players. Let's talk util here. What do we need to know? What do we need to do? What do we need to throw to shut down a T advance?
All right, guys. So a lot of what happens on B is going to be situational. If you're the B anchor guy and you're playing site, maybe jail, maybe bench, if you're in this area, a lot of your initial contact is going to come from you actually shooting. If you've got time, if you think you have time, you can throw a molly. You really just need to offhand it. It doesn't have to be a lineup. It has to go ideally between both of the windows, because they're going to be forced to push into that. What you see a lot of the times, and why I say it's mainly shooting, is that they're just insta-smoke it. So if you are jail, if you can get a molly off, this window is your best bet to do it without exposing yourself. once they smoke it, this whole area, the benefit of this molly is that this whole area is smoked. So they're going to be coming out to you essentially blind for a quick second. You're aiming at the top of this white. There you go.
Got it.
So that smoke is going to have them blind for just a half second. So if they commit to the dropout, I wouldn't swing from this position. Just hold the dropout. As they come out, take them out. If you feel that need, like you've gotten one, you've gotten two from here, and you can make that room, they've maybe already pushed van, then fight your way out. But really, this position, if you cannot escape quick enough, you're a one and done kind of guy, which is fine. Your whole existence in this position is to just slow people down. If you are back towards site, you're playing market, you have a little bit more options where you can get a molly deeper and fight the run out. But again, your anchor position is just a lot of heavy fighting, and it's just mollies offhand. You don't have a specific lineup for that stuff.
All right, so we got the B spawn. We're coming. We called. We're going to play jail because we're a little bit more confident playing from jail. We're taking the molly. We're kind of just aiming towards the top right corner here of the window frame. Is it a W throw or is it just a chuck and throw?
I W it because it gets a little bit further, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so ideally you want the molly.
Landing in the window, it's actually not bad either. I mean, landing in it is fine because it spreads down, so as they jump out, they take damage. But that's a lot more difficult.
By the time they're out, it's too late.
Than just banking it into the window.
Yeah, so bank it off of the window frame, and as you can see, getting into apps right there. Again, to hesitate, to slow down, to maybe make them rethink that push. All right, what other good spots do we need to know to control B side?
Your cat player is going to be pivotal. If they are rushing, this is going to be the first person that hears that rush. I am a cat player. When I hear that, I just turn around. I anticipate that my teammates are going to be able to cover my mid for me, or at least let me know if someone's coming behind me. So I just turn around and I commit to this fight. When I turn around and commit to this fight, my anchor player usually has this front window already mollied, so I bank off back. And I'm doing this anticipating that they've already thrown their smoke too far forward so that I can still hit them. Just, you're aiming like the middle of this window. There you go.
Yeah, I was standing next to you off. All right, so we're right here. And for the middle of the window there we go. That was a tad too high. So this one, I'm sure you've been playing for 20 plus years. It's just habitual to you at this point. I've been playing since March. So maybe for me and for other beginner players, it's going to take a little bit more conscious lining it up, but we're looking at the middle of the window here. We're throwing that and we're banking it. So that molly gets a little bit deeper than the one our bench or our prison player throws. Now, is this one to slow down? Say bench player has already thrown that molly and that's made them hesitate, but you still hear them in there. They're still in there. Are we throwing that to just buy time, or are we throwing that to maybe do some entry damage?
It's doing a little bit of both. So buying time in the sense that, well, now they have to either expend another smoke or just commit to the run out, which is going to do about 20-ish damage if they commit to it. And it's buying time in the sense that I know that someone will hesitate, which is going to help my teammates have time to rotate over to help. So we're just trying to give us time to get our window player through. All right, and that whole run, assuming he's not fighting somebody mid actively, it'll take him about 5 to 8 seconds to get here on time. So all we need to do is buy that enough time to get here and get that support, stay alive. It gives us an opportunity to fight more. Even in this position, like if you want to adapt this differently, if you've got time, maybe you got to pick, you can duck back, throw an HE through the window, and then continue your fight just for more damage. That would be a good adaptation for that as well, and I wouldn't be mad seeing that.
Okay, and so really it seems like CT side on both A and B so far are both very it's situational util. We're not learning some util lineup from a TikTok montage or TikTok video that's going to fly across the map and look really cool on the internet. You can really flex on all your Silver 2 teammates that you know utilize. We're trying to stop and actually win here. So we're really going to be focusing on this situational utility on CT side.
Yes, this is very heavily common. You're going to see these rushes. You're going to see this in every game from your 4,000 prem level to your 30,000 prem level. This is a very common strategy to run when you go B. It's also going to be a very common way to stop that rush. So there's going to be antis to certain things that we show you, and in later episodes we'll talk about how to adapt your strats into those antis. But right now this is the focus. This is the most common way to handle these scenarios.
All right, let's cover one more piece of util for B site, and then we'll move on to shutting down a mid push.
So from B, there's a lot of supporting utility that you can throw, but what I really want to focus on is if you just get back in this corner, you can W key kind of halfway to the end of this little wall here. You're going basically to the end of the truck. What this molly does is it pushes people from kitchen back out of apps. That one's a little bit too far to the left. You want to go a little bit more right with that.
Okay, so if I'm aiming again, so I'm sitting here, I'm pinched up between the barrel and the van. I'm aiming at this ceiling fan, or might I want to be to the right of that?
So to the right of it, you see where this like support in the roof is. You're looking at the top of that, and you just W. Perfect. So this pushes people back into kitchen. What this allows you to do now, a little bit too shallow on that one, but what that allows you to do is it allows you to take more apps control. So if you are afraid of somebody holding you before you get aggressive, you can throw this molly to clear that out, jump up on the van, however you're most comfortable doing it. I like doing the weird strafe jump up, but you get up and it allows you to take this space relatively free. You have to worry about deep. You can clear close, but you're going to see that as you come up, and then you just clear into kitchen as you come up. Now with this space, you've just taken a huge key portion of the map that allows you to then go mid or go top mid from apps. It's just huge. And all this molly is doing is pushing people back. That's all it's meant for.
So from a very high level here, for maybe new players that are just picking this up, or those that are wanting to be able to articulate kind of the theory behind what we're doing, this is a game of taking space and not letting your enemies take space. And all of the mollies and all of the utility that we've learned so far in CT side is in an effort to do that, really, to keep the as much space in under your control as possible.
Absolutely. It's an information game. So if I get here, right, and my molly didn't burn anybody, my cat player didn't hear anything, so he'll not say anything, ideally, I can take this essentially for free, maybe with one fight back here on stairs. But now that I have this space, a lot of the players that are on CT side can shift closer to A, or if we're taking a lot of, activity in mid, we shift somebody towards mid. And that allows you to just have a more, 3-on-1, 3-on-2 fight where it's more in your favor versus everybody playing a guessing game.
So sometimes lack of info is actually info itself. You get all the way in here, say you don't even have a fight at top underpass stairs, odds are pretty good that either they have their timing completely wrong and it's super late, or they're not leaning towards B at all and the CTs on A need to expect a fight.
Exactly. And as long as you're communicating that, it should be a fairly easy round to win, depending on the util available and all a bunch of stuff, if they're hitting their shots. But it should be fairly easy to win.
Now, furthering our CT side knowledge, let's talk about shutting down mid or controlling mid. It seems that mid is always a hot piece for Mirage and taking that control.
Part of this mid control, your cat player is going to be extremely important. Yes, he's a B player, but he's also a mid player. And it takes somebody who can do both to play this position. So from here, there's a couple of pieces of utility that I'll show you. As you come up, your first job as the cat player is to listen for this apps push. If you don't hear this apps push, then your focus should be on mid until your B player needs help. That's kind of how I see this position. So from here, we already have contact. We're going to assume that. We're going to assume that our mid player is working that, our con player is working that. From here, I can do a little left click. And what you're doing here is you're taking just a regular left click, you're W keying at the bottom right of the B. Bounces. Yep. Essentially the same smoke, and goes deep enough that it allows you to get up on top of the sign. So you can come up here, just jump, crouch, come up. You can fight all the way up here. Now this is a very, very vulnerable position. We're all the way up here, but where you are, you still have the opportunity to duck behind the smoke and then come back to ladder. Really, this is a good position for that early mid engagement. We have maybe 1 or 2 guns already fighting this position. We know they haven't pushed super far down. If they get far down and they're already W keyed up, if you still have your molly available, just throwing your molly over the sign, landing it in underpass, or throwing it and landing it to the bottom of window. That's just a regular left click throw. You're going to get sound cues and you're going to knock players off of these positions, which means now that I know someone's pushed down, if I knocked them out, I can fight that behind my smoke. I can fight this and make sure that we win this position back before falling back. Again, it's a kind of a one and done type of situation, maybe you can get 2 here, but you're really aiming for that one and done, one and run. Like, just go.
So why on CT side do we even care? I mean, this is just one lane. There's no bomb site here. There's no nothing. Why do we care about not letting them take all of this space in mid?
So mid is a very important location on Mirage. From mid, they can get to B, they can get to A, from multiple different avenues, right? So they can just take mid control, go back underpass, and take B. They can go mid, take cat to B. They could go mid, take cat ladder, and then go back to A. Like, you have all of these different avenues that are super key to the information and to just simple security of your sites that is extremely important. So the reason that you're seeing in the meta now, where you have a lot of 3 CT and just 1 on each site, is to specifically stop them from taking this location quickly. Because I can get quick down mid and silent boost into window and then have jungle control before anybody really knows what's going on. It's a huge vulnerability, and you want to make sure somebody's here. Even if they just end up hitting sites over and over and again, having one here just to watch flank is going to be extremely important on your CT side every game.
In essence, if the team that controls mid really kind of controls the map, if our players know their basic util and their situational util on CT side, we want to shut down a mid push because we don't want them to have free access through a bunch of these different back routes to get to the bomb sites.
Exactly, and it works on the flip side too. So if we, as the CTs, have mid control and we can get up into the TV room side of B, we can have somebody collapse through apps and clear that. We can have somebody wrap through Palace or a ramp and control that. And it just gives you a lot more options as far as like your retake and your information game. Because if they execute a site and you're behind them, well, then you've got the timing on them and it works out a lot better versus you not taking advantage of that. And then you get them from con, jungle, or CT. You have 3 avenues that they already know about.
Gotcha.
So it just gives you more options as far as retakes as well.
Okay, awesome. So to summarize, we want map control. We don't want them to be able to take space. So we're going to throw our util. We're going to shut down pushes. We're going to make them hesitate. And we're going to make sure that we can control mid, because it's probably one of the most important places on the map as far as being able to control the flow of the fight and the flow of information, which is everything that we need to be prioritizing on CT side.
Absolutely. If you are just straight miraging at like kind of lower elos in CS right now, that's perfectly fine. But using this information will win you more games than not. Like, just using what we're talking about right now will push you to like 8K at least. And then your aim and a lot of other fundamentals that we can talk about will push you past that.
All right, so as a bonus piece of information before we move over to T side here, let's give some advice for the players that like to play mid or window here.
Yeah, so window, kind of slash comma jungle. But if you're a window and you're like a dedicated window player, you're going to be seeing these window smokes a lot. The biggest thing that you can do is take advantage of this corner. All right, so when you shoot through the corner here with your M4 or with an op, you get a giant hole in the top of the smoke. So that's the best way to get your info immediately on how many people are crossing, how many people are taking mid. It'll be the best way to play this position. As far as your opper slash M4, whoever's trying to hold cat control, you can also come back, and if you just look up this beam, you're gonna right click a nade into the smoke and then swing off of that. That's going to be your best bet for that early mid control to help early on in that fight with your con and your cat player. That's really it. You just have to time it right. Ask for flashes, you know.
So that ties into, say your short player is up mid, your con player's down bench. This just really ties into and is a pretty key point here to this overall theme of mid control on Mirage.
Absolutely. Yep.
And now, just a little bit of information. Am I peeking this with my pistol out? Is this for my opper? Is this for a rifler? What are we doing? Who are we sending here?
So it's very playstyle dependent. So if you are the opper and you want to op in window and you kill it in window, then absolutely come window. It's not a problem. You can also hold this at a more like short angle with an M4 so that you're just watching that cat push, and then you can swing every now and again with your teammates flashing with good communication so that you're able to clear valley, this area in mid here.
Okay.
But generally speaking, a lot of people are going to be opping here, and a lot of people love to sit up here to look over that smoke that we just talked about. They also will pop it from the other side just to throw people off, to kind of adapt to what we just talked about, just to give different angles. But generally, you're here opping, or you have a rifle watching for the cat push.
Well, I think that's a pretty good summary of CT side, what we need to know, what mistakes we need to correct. Make sure we're using our utility to slow down those T pushes and prevent them from taking space, and make sure we are controlling mid, because you control mid, you control the information, and you control the map a lot easier, and that's one of the best ways to win a round.